The war is spreading beyond the lines Moscow once claimed it would never cross. Sumy, a region Russia has not annexed, has become the new center stage, a pressure point, a proving ground, and increasingly a warning. According to Russian security sources, Ukrainian forces have launched multiple counterattacks in the Sumy region, each one detected early, each one stopped cold. One attempt came from two assault groups of Ukraine's 71st Separate Airmobile Brigade, advancing toward the village of Varachino. They never made it. Russian forces say a coordinated fire strike destroyed both units before they could break through. Further south, near Yunakovka, two more counterattacks followed, this time involving Ukraine's 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade. Again, no breakthrough. Again, withdrawal under fire. Losses reported. Positions unchanged. Sumy, it appears, is beginning to echo another familiar name: Kharkiv. Another non-annexed region where Ukrainian forces have struggled to regain momentum and where Russian pressure has steadily increased. Russian President Vladimir Putin has framed these operations as part of a broader strategy, the creation of a security buffer zone along Russia's border, a zone not drawn by diplomacy but by force. The task, Moscow says, is being carried out by Russia's North Group of forces, operating simultaneously in Sumy and Kharkiv. Over the past 24 hours alone, Russian claims suggest Ukrainian losses exceeding 90 personnel, along with vehicles, artillery, an ammunition depot, and an electronic warfare station. These are battlefield claims, difficult to independently verify, but the message they are meant to send is clear. Ukraine is attacking, Russia is absorbing the blows, and the front line is no longer frozen. As Sumy joins Kharkiv in the crosshairs, one reality is hard to ignore. This war is no longer confined to the territories Russia says it wants. It is testing the boundaries of what comes next.
The map of the war is shifting again. In the smoke-scarred fields of northeastern Ukraine, Russian forces are pressing forward with relentless momentum. The village of Staritsa in the Kharkiv region has fallen. According to Russia's Ministry of Defense, units of the North Group of Forces completed what they call a decisive operation, liberating Staritsa after intense combat. Another settlement brought under Moscow's control, another line erased. But this is not just about one village. Russian strike groups are now hammering Ukrainian brigades across Kharkiv and deep into Sumy, opening pressure on multiple fronts. In a single day, Ukrainian losses mount, dozens of troops, armored vehicles destroyed, electronic warfare systems wiped out. This is the sound of momentum. President Vladimir Putin says the objective is clear: a security buffer zone stretching across Kharkiv and Sumy, pushing the front line farther from Russia's borders. And here's what makes this moment different. Kharkiv is not among the four regions Russia formally claimed in September 2022: Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia. Yet the advance continues, the territory shrinks, and the question grows louder. Is Moscow laying the groundwork for something bigger? As Russian forces dig in and Ukraine strains to hold the line, the battlefield reality is speaking before diplomacy ever can. Kharkiv is under pressure. Russia is advancing, and once again, the war is rewriting its own boundaries, one village at a time. The Russian Defense Ministry claims its forces have crushed Ukraine's weakest nerve, shattering resistance at a critical pressure point.
Russia's latest strike came without warning, but its impact may echo across the battlefield for weeks. Vladimir Putin's forces say they have hit a critical Ukrainian warehouse storing loitering munitions, the very weapons Kyiv has relied on to slow Russian advances and strike deep behind enemy lines. This was not just another target. Loitering munitions, often called kamikaze drones, are a cornerstone of Ukraine's current offensive and defensive tactics. They scout, hover, and strike with precision. Destroying their storage and launch infrastructure could blunt Ukraine's ability to respond quickly on multiple fronts. According to Russia's defense ministry, the attack was carried out using a coordinated barrage of operational tactical aircraft, missiles, artillery, and strike drones. Alongside the warehouse, Moscow claims it hit launch sites for long-range UAVs, energy facilities supporting Ukrainian military operations, and temporary deployment zones used by Ukrainian troops and foreign fighters. The message is clear. Russia is not just targeting troops on the front line, it is going after the systems that sustain Ukraine's war effort: fuel, power, drones, and command nodes. This is about weakening Ukraine's operational tempo before it can regroup or mount fresh offensives. And the scale of fighting remains relentless. In just the past 24 hours, Russia claims Ukrainian forces suffered roughly 1,260 casualties across the entire line of engagement. These numbers, released by Moscow, underscore the intensity of combat stretching from the north to the south of the battlefield. Above the battlefield, the air war rages on. Russia says its air defense systems intercepted and destroyed a staggering 370 Ukrainian drones in just 24 hours, along with HIMARS rockets, guided bombs, and long-range missiles. If confirmed, this would mark one of the heaviest single-day drone interception totals reported so far. Taken together, these claims paint a picture of sustained, large-scale combat with no sign of de-escalation. The destruction of a loitering munitions warehouse, in particular, suggests Russia is attempting to seize the initiative, crippling Ukraine's drone-based strike capability before it can be replenished.